This February, history will be made. Millions will watch as 80 years of unjust stigma is left in the past. A product that drove good people to the black market will be revealed as one that's creating a new global market. This February, what inspired the symbol of counterculture will at long last be seen as just culture. The new normal is coming. Will you be one of the first to see it? Visit medmen.com to watch an exclusive preview.
Hey everyone, this is your jabroni name entered here, Andrew, aka Big Brother Boy, at the Brothers Commonplace. Thanks for checking out our podcast. Just a quick disclaimer before we start. We are a comedy podcast that covers many serious events. We aren't here to purposely offend or disrespect any of the people in our topics, but at the same time, we will make our best to try and take each other laugh and crack jokes. I fucking hate you guys. I fucking
What do you hate us?
I can't fucking do this.
Just keep going. Just say the last couple.
All right. Thanks again for listening. Be good. Stay late. Oh my God.
Okay. Be good. Stay late.
Stay late. Stay late. And stay late. Stay as late as you can. Listen to it like 4 more times. Fucking stay safe and laugh at the dark stuff. For God's sakes, thank you.
Because he's a freaking nerd. I think I'm better than Chuck's worse than freaking nerd. Oh, Jesus.
Alright, fellas, like we practiced.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Come on down. Come on down. Hanging with the brothers tonight, yeah. Come on down to the Brothers Commonplace tonight.
Alrighty, welcome everyone to the Brothers Commonplace, a comedy podcast where we cover monsters, murders, mysteries, and more. And today we got a super awesome topic. Toof is fucking going nuts.
Toof.
But before we jump into that topic, let's go ahead and meet the boys.
What's up, guys? This is Tim. And a lot of times, I like to give you guys a nickname here, but I actually just kind of want to tell a story. It's about this girl I was dating recently, and stuff didn't work out, and it kind of sucks because I really liked her, but one thing that I think leaded to the end of the relationship was the fact that she was like super into music. And I know you're thinking like, why is that a bad thing?
What a bitch.
And so I'm gonna explain why. Like she would bring it up in like times where I was like, why the hell would you bring that up then? And an example is the first and only time we made love, and so we had sex, and oh man, I'm laying there and I'm just like, I'm spent, I'm sweating, I'm like panting, I'm out of breath, and suffice to say, it was the best 11 seconds of my life. And so I look over to her and I'm like, baby, like I hope it was as good for you as it was for me, but I gotta know, like, how was it? And I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. She looked me right in the eyes and she said, "It hooba stink."
What up, it's Spence, and all I have to say is I am into it, Aziz Ansari.
Oh, I like that.
All right, Toof, intro, brother.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Brothers Commonplace proudly presents to you its podcast tag team champions of the world, the Road Dogg, Toofy James, the Badass Pod Crew, the New Age Brothers. T-Bro C.
Oh, yes.
Hell yeah,
That's
I like
awesome.
that.
Fuck yeah.
That was good shit, Toof.
I have to go after that. I really have to go after that fucking badass intro.
You gotta top it. We know you can do it.
No, I don't. I have one, but it's nowhere near that fucking good.
Lay
hear
it
it.
on us.
Let's hear it.
It's hey, it's Big Brother Boy Andrew, and it's balls, Willie Redneck balls. Should have went
That's still
before
like
you,
it, though.
Toof.
You fucking Willy Bubba, you.
Fuck yeah. And it's the kid, K-Dog, a.k.a. the leader of the T-Birds. And today we are going to be talking about the Max Headroom incident / intrusion, whatever you would like to call it.
So do we all get one T-Bird jacket?
One T-Bird jacket.
Ooh, that's worth it.
Hey, Andrew, take off your pants and jacket.
Oh.
They're already off.
And speaking of Max Headroom, my mother and Tim's mother actually went to the same college. and they shared a dorm room there, and they actually called their dorm room the Max Headroom. So
Holy shit.
at least that's what I heard it was called.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Wait, what?
Like Max, like head room.
Max Headroom.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so,
I was
yeah.
thinking like a headboard thing, and I
That's-
was getting, what the fuck? Like they're banging the
Like
headboards
I always,
or something?
I always wonder because my mom has like a lot of celebrity autographs. I'm like, where the fuck did you get those? She's like, oh, I got those when we were, staying in the Max Headroom.
Is her favorite band Stained?
You crack that joke every fucking podcast episode.
This is gonna sound weird. I don't know why, but for some reason she does have Ronald Reagan. So
Fuck yeah, dude. So, alrighty, before we jump into the case of the Max Headroom incident, we are going to get those creative juices flowing. You know how we like to do that, guys.
we do.
So, we have this little game we play called, well, we're going to do like a movies with change or movie hijack or something.
Ooh, movie hijack. I like.
Movie hijack?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, what we're going to do is we take a movie or like television scene and you add yourself into the scene, and you can either say a line or do something in it, and you think you'd like make the scene better, or you can do like a Max Headroom where you interrupt the scene, however you want to do it. But yeah, so we're gonna say what we would do if we could insert ourselves into a movie scene. So who wants to go first?
I made mine about real life.
That's fine.
Can I do two?
Yeah, I got two.
Yeah. One is like a Max Headroom thing where I interrupt a broadcast. I was like, what can I interrupt a broadcast of and cause like the most damage or like whatnot? Donald Trump's State of the Union address. Soon as it goes on, I cut it out. It's a bunch of clips of Donald Trump talking where I like splice words in and out and make him like say what I want. Never gonna give you up, like all his splicing things. And it's like a State of the Union address, but the funniest part is people take it serious that he was doing that.
I want that to happen in real life.
Yeah,
The thing about never giving you up is that people don't realize that I'm the best at never giving you up.
Yeah.
All right, I got one, but
Ooh.
it's kind of a fart one though.
Oh,
That's
All right, the part in Back to the Future #1 where he's like his car's the starter won't work right when he's trying to go down there. He smashes his head on there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that scene was me in the back. I let out a really fucking nasty fart. He passed out, and that's why the car started again.
All right, I came up with 3 examples of moments in movie history that would have been changed forever if the Max Headroom incident had happened there.
Oh, I like that.
So the first one I thought of is in the second to last episode of Breaking Bad, Walter White is sitting in a bar and watching TV, and he sees his former coworkers taking credit for work that he did that pisses him off and makes him go, and that's what the finale leads to the finale of that. So if Max Headroom had happened then and interrupted that broadcast, Walter White might still be alive.
Oh, shit. I like that.
And then I was thinking in Independence Day when the president gets on the radio and does a speech about this is today. Today Independence Day is for the whole world or something like that.
Yeah, very cliche speech.
I mean, I don't know how Max Headroom would work if it was just sound, but if it happened, then the world would probably still be completely fucked.
Dude, I love that because it's like the most like powerful moving speech in that movie. Like it's like this big turning point, and then he's about to do it, and just it comes over the air.
He
as the
just
Max
doesn't
Headroom.
want the fucking Earth to survive.
That was good.
And last, but probably most importantly, if when Forrest Gump was walking along the street and looked into the store and saw on the TVs that Elvis was dancing like him, but that had been interrupted by Max Headroom, then we never would have known that Elvis learned how to dance from Forrest Gump.
Dude, fuck yeah.
Those are great.
That's fucking awesome, Spence.
I love those. All right, so my first one is going to be that episode of Family Matters where they write the N-word on Laura's locker.
Oh, my God.
And as soon as she closes the locker, revealing the N-word, I walk by and I go, huh, wasn't me.
That's it.
Oh, my God, dude.
Holy shit! I was not expecting that.
My second one is that scene in Family Matters
Oh, man.
when Eddie gets beat up by the dragons.
I knew it was coming.
And right when Eddie walks in the restaurant, like the whole restaurant's torn apart, and
Yeah.
Eddie walks in all beat up.
Yeah.
Well, I walk in right behind him, and I go, "Y'all crackers open?" Which doesn't make any sense because I'm white.
Oh my god!
Holy shit.
But I thought maybe I'd be blackface for it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
tasteful blackface, though. It'd be tasteful.
Of course. But dude, if you watch that actual scene where Eddie walks in after getting beat up,
Yeah.
I swear to God, it's not edited. For a split second, they hit the laugh track.
Oh my
For a
God.
split
Oh
second,
my
yeah,
God, dude.
they really do.
Yes.
Everyone listen to it. Just look up Family Matters Dragons.
Yeah.
It's fucking good.
Which, I mean, I remember watching that like whole thing like when it was like out. So this is during the movie Titanic. And there's just like this like great love story going on. I mean, this is right after Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet had banged for the first time when they were in that car. Spoiler alert. There's these two guys that are up in like the tower. They're supposed to be watching for the icebergs. And I would change it to where there's only one guy. And I want him to be by himself. and so after the iceberg hits, the original scene is that a guy looks over to the other guy and says, "Smell ice, can you?" Well, I want that dude to be by himself, and then out of nowhere, I want Andrew to pop in and say, "Smell ice, can you?" Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Alrighty, I think we're in the right state of mind now, guys. Did you have another one?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Never mind, not yet. False alarm.
This isn't. This is a sequel to a movie.
Okay.
It's about a kid raised in like a rough neighborhood because his parents separated at a very, very, very young age. Homeless, telling my story of my life to another homeless guy. And it's like the story of like my mom like cheating on my dad and stuff, and like there was a bunch of turmoil and stuff that happened that led to their breakup and whatnot, and she gave birth to me after they like fought and whatnot, after he had a suicide. And my mom Lisa just told me everything about what happened in my past and everything to my father, and the movie's called The Womb.
That got like super deep.
I
Oh,
forgot
shit.
most of the story by the time we got to the end of it.
Man.
Kind of bummed me out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yep. Got him.
Mine's pretty quick. This is more like an actual Max Headroom one. The show Full House. I fucking hate that show. I cannot stand it. During an episode of that, I'm gonna wait till like the soppy like stupid endings. Yeah, Andrew's gonna cut that fart during it.
I hope that made it through. Andrew ripped a
Yeah.
fucking like brand new trumpet fart over
yeah,
here.
dude. That was like a queef one for sure.
Is either that or a dog outside got hit by a truck and he's still alive?
There's a little bit of air coming out.
So yeah, I'm gonna wait till like one of like the really shitty like soppy stupid endings of that show, and I'm gonna cut in. And before like you see me at all, because I'm still gonna be wearing like the mask and stuff, but before you see me at all, I'm gonna like find like the most like unrealistic but fucking brutal murder scene like in movies. So I'm probably gonna get like a murder scene from like Jason X or something, and I'm just gonna play that. So the fuckers that were watching that show just get to like see that. And then after it's done, I'm gonna like cut in. I'll just be wearing that mask. And I'm like, this is more realistic, Bob Saget, you fucking idiot. And then it's gonna go right back to the same scene.
So
I was gonna say Andrew's farts sound like the hydraulics from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Oh my god,
dude, it really sounded 100% like that fucking reindeer in the movie Prancer when it falls off and he's like
yes.
dying and he makes that noise.
Yes.
So alrighty, let's go ahead and talk about the Max Headroom incident. On November 22nd, 1987, a television hijacking / hacking occurred in Chicago, Illinois. During a sport broadcast as well as during an episode of Doctor Who, the regular scheduled television broadcasts were then interrupted, and a video of a man wearing a Max Headroom mask was shown instead. To this day, the culprits have never been identified, and neither has a reason as to why they had done it.
And the reason is
Oh,
you.
yes.
But before we jump into the actual details of the case, let's talk a little bit about who and what Max Headroom is.
It's these two girls' dorms in college that were popping in the late 70s.
Yes.
Oh, Mama Green.
Yep.
You nasty girl. So created in 1984, Max Headroom is a fictional character that was made to be a sort of artificial intelligence type character. He was also dubbed the world's first computer-generated TV host, even though that's not true at all. He was actually just the actor Matt Frewer in makeup and costume. But he was still considered the first digital host. He's a TV host, but...
Wait, Frewer?
Matt Frewer.
Is this spelled like how people call like Hitler the Führer or something like that?
No. Frewer.
Nope.
The one word Toof knows how to spell.
And the makeup process took around 4 to 5 hours to put the prosthetics and everything on. And the backgrounds were like pure 80s looking with computer drawn designs that make him look like he was an actual digital host, I guess. It's pretty corny and super 80s, but it's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
kind of.
I thought it was pretty cool. Wait, wasn't he in like commercials?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about
I
it.
just wanted to make sure that was real.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a lot of 90s commercials with Michael Jordan. They always played basketball. This is Bugs Bunny. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't you don't remember the commercial where him and Michael Jordan were shooting the basketball playing pig and whoever won got the McDonald's?
Yes, I remember that one.
So
Great commercial.
you described it as kind of like 80s looking and pretty corny.
Mm-hmm.
So like my dump after a Chipotle marathon.
Wait, why is that 80s looking?
Wait, how?
I guess I get the corny.
I don't know, like 80 little turd nuggets.
Oh, Toof, you nasty
How-
son of a bitch.
How many pounds it weighs?
How
that
long-
makes more sense.
Like, how long could a Chipotle? What'd you call it? A
Marathon.
How long could a Chipotle marathon be? Like more than 2, I don't think
Hey,
it's possible.
As long as the stall's open, as long as I want it to be.
Oh, yes.
And whenever Max would speak, he would stutter, skip, and he would have a distorted and sometimes electronic sounding voice.
So he was Simple Jack.
And Max was also very quick-witted, funny, and clever. That was mostly like the actor portraying him.
Yeah.
That's why they had him do like talk show stuff because he was pretty funny, real quick with answers. So, and honestly, it just reminds me of Jim Carrey a lot. And I'm sure that's been mentioned like 100 times. But it really, if you were to see it, Jim Carrey first and then this, you would just think this guy's ripping off Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Because that's who it reminds me of. Like the way he talks, his mannerisms and things like that. It just seems like he's like a Jim Carrey, but he was first.
Yeah.
Andrew, who's he ripping off?
The ultimate evil Jim Scary.
Oh, yes. I like that.
This is his alter ego, Jim Scary, where he comes from the 80s computers.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Can I get a hat wobble?
So you've probably all seen Matt Frewer in something. He is recognizable, but he's one of those guys that you don't really know their names, but you see him in movies. He's been in a bunch of shit. Like I knew him from National Lampoon's Senior Trip, but he also played Moloch in The Watchmen. He was that guy.
I haven't seen
He was
that
in
one.
a lot of shows.
Definitely
also.
seen
Is
Senior
that the
Trip.
naked
but
blue guy?
Negative.
Okay.
I think I watched a movie with him where he co-starred with Bailey J in some movie.
My God.
Wait,
That's the dude, right? The trap?
Yeah, the tranny.
wait, holy shit, dude. How did everybody know that? I had no idea what was happening.
I only know it from going on 4chan way
Yeah.
back in the day.
Andrew knew pretty quickly over
I
there.
know, Andrew
For
fucking...
the chick's name, I knew it was a porno.
Oh, fuck yeah,
That's
dude.
all I do is
Nice.
just look up their names and write them down who I got to stalk later.
All right, what confuses me now is how the fuck did you get my mom's name then?
Max Headroom, man.
Ah,
He's
damn
been
it.
taking trips to the Max Headroom.
Jesus,
Every
Andrew.
other weekend, baby. Boom.
Andrew, are you fucking immortal?
Yes.
And Max Headroom was also the spokesman for the new Coke when that came out in the mid 80s. And in the commercial, he would deliver the slogan "Catch the wave," but he would always like do the electronic skip and like "Catch the wave."
Nice.
I don't know. It's kind of lame. New Coke's dumb, so it didn't last
What
very
is
long.
New Coke? Just
It was when it came out. It was supposed to be better than the original Coke, but no one really liked it. It didn't last too long.
oh, okay.
But the commercial's kind of cool. I watched the commercial for it.
Yeah. It sounds so much like we're just talking about the fucking drug, dude.
I know. New
Like-
Coke sucks.
Yeah, it sounds.
We
so
need that
much-
old shit back.
That shit Tom Cruise was flying into America.
And also, I should probably mention, because it's probably the most recent thing, the music video for Rap God, Eminem does a parody of Max Headroom. Like that
Oh.
whole video, that's what he's portraying is
Oh,
the
okay.
Max Headroom character.
That's a sweet song.
And also, what's that shitty movie, that Pixels movie with Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
There's a Max Headroom thing in it at the end.
Wow. So we
And
can.
it just looks like it's Jim Carrey
yeah.
doing it. But
We can guarantee that none of us have seen that.
yeah, I haven't seen it. I've only
Yeah,
seen the clip.
None of the listeners. I think the only person that's seen that is Adam Sandler, but still.
No, he made one of his friends edit it. The grandma's boy star. You made him do it.
Dude, I've never learned that guy's name.
No, I don't think anyone has, dude.
Hey, man, since you got free time, you might as well edit this movie for me.
Oh, wait, it's actually, I got it right here. It's Matt Frewer. I'm just joking. I don't know what
That'd
his
be
name
awesome.
is. And one thing that is kind of cool is how the name Max Headroom was chosen. In the original movie, Max Headroom 20 Minutes into the Future, Matt Frewer plays a television reporter named Edison Carter, and he's trying to expose this corrupt network that had created like a type of subliminal advertising that some people were dying from in the movie. And while he's attempting to flee the network headquarters after he obtains proof, Edison suffers a serious head injury caused by striking a low clearance sign labeled Max Headroom 2.3 meters or 2.3 something, I forget.
Nice.
So it's kind of from that. So that's kind of a cool backstory to it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that.
And then in the movie, they take Edison Carter and they keep him sedated and make like a computer version of him or something that becomes Max Headroom. I don't really know. I've never seen the movie. That's kind of like the summary.
I was just going to say, it sounds like kind of unethical unless he wanted to be sedated.
I want to be sedated.
I'm sorry, that was dumb.
No, it wasn't, dude.
You know, they just took the brain part of him and the rest of his body they just took and fucking made RoboCop out of it.
Oh, yes, they did. The fucking opening scene of RoboCop, though, dude. It's fucking great.
So on to the actual incident, there are 2 videos of where whenever the hijacking happened, and they're all online. You can watch them on YouTube. The first one occurs during a sports broadcast, and then the second one, which is longer, occurs during an episode of Doctor Who. And I don't really know why, but it's pretty creepy. It's not like an actual scary video or anything, but it's just a combination of the mask, the audio quality, and then just putting yourself like in the headspace of the people that were watching TV live when it happened, and
That'd
you
be
just
fucking
see
weird.
like your screen just get taken over, and then you just see this thing happening. It's scary. It's creepy.
And I'm not gonna lie, this was the other night. Tori was sleeping, and I don't know if Spence was here or not, but I watched the video, and I was watching Netflix at the time, and I thought, what the fuck if this happened right now? Like while I was watching Netflix, dude, that'd be scary as shit.
Yeah, it would be very scary.
So yeah, it's definitely creepy.
That's like the scene in Fight Club when they're like in the, I don't remember what that's called, but where they do the film part. And he's like, when you have to cut and paste that shit together before the next reel goes on, they put that little porn clip in there, and everybody's like looks at each other. They're like, the fuck? That kid's like,
Everything Andrew was just saying did happen, and it all happened in the secret volcano lair.
Secret volcano layer.
I didn't know there was 2 incidents. I just thought there was just the Doctor Who podcast or the Doctor Who TV show one.
Yeah, there was a first one. We'll talk about it. It's a lot shorter.
So was Doctor Who broadcasted on CBS too?
No. Well, no. I don't think any of them were actually on CBS. One
the
might have
sports
been like
one might have been. CBS is pretty popular for sports.
No, the second one is on a PBS member station.
Oh, okay.
The first one is on WGN TV Chicago.
Wow, dude, that still exists too.
So, and that was Channel 9 there. And it's the 9 o'clock news, and Dan Rowan, the sports anchor, is showing the highlights of the Chicago Bears victory over the Detroit Lions. Then the screen goes black, showing nothing but a few numbers at the bottom, and then a little bit of static, and a man or woman wearing a Max Headroom mask and suit is up close facing the camera, just bobbing his head around. And there's a sheet of corrugated metal in the background that's rotating to kind of mimic the actual digital-looking background from the original Max Headroom show. And it's only for like 15 seconds. And there's no audio from the video, but you do hear like a loud, staticky buzzsaw that when it comes on, it just scares the shit out of you.
Yeah,
like
it's
I think
pretty
this
creepy.
first one is a lot scarier.
Yeah.
Because it just pops up for like 10 seconds, and it's just, you just see him bobbling around. He's like, and then that's it.
That is super creepy. What's the news guy's name?
Dan Rowan.
Okay, because there was one where the guy's wearing a sheep mask, and they ended up finding out it was his son Eric, just a dude from the fucking Wyatt family.
The Bludgeon Brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what he's in now. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Eric Rowan. He's just from the Wyatt family, just the guy that has the sheep mask.
That's weird that like both weren't on a. He didn't interrupt a CBS broadcast, but in the video he's like, "Take that, CBS," or "I hate CBS."
We'll talk about it. I don't think he really says CBS.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about it though. And so that it goes on for 15 seconds, and then the engineers at WGN switch the frequency of their studio link over, and then the news is right back on. And Dan Roan kind of smirks for a second and laughs, then says, "Well, if you're wondering what happened, so am I." So for this case, WGN was pretty lucky they had their technicians ready just in case, because it only took them like 15 seconds. And the second incident, they're not that lucky.
Yeah. I've never been told I was lucky that it only took me 15 seconds, but thanks, guys.
No problem, dude. You're getting better, man.
Yeah, I know. Tripling my time.
One time in high school, there's like an AV club in high school and stuff, and you guys can make daily announcements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, it never got out because our school's so small, they just shut it down. But I took over the daily announcements one time, and it was just me with like my wiener tucked like backwards, like touching my butthole, and it was filmed pointing toward my butt, so you just saw like a little penis head. And I had a marker, and I drew a little smiley face on it, but my pee hole was one of the eyes, and I drew like a little marker eye patch over it. And like I was doing a little song and dance, and they cut off the broadcast. But before they did, I got out my my new band name, Tenacious D. Thanks, Mom, for helping me film that.
Alrighty, so now on to incident 2. Do you have any comments or anything you want to mention about the first incident?
I didn't research that. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. It is real short. That one is.
No, I wasn't looking at Tim's penis. So I didn't see the first incident.
Yeah. Nobody is. Don't worry about it.
Alrighty, incident 2. This is on the same day. On the PBS member station of WTTW, their signal was also hijacked by the same culprit. 11:15 that same night, during an episode of Doctor Who titled Horror of Frank Rock. Nope, Fank Rock. Unless I mistyped that. I don't know. I've never watched Doctor Who. But luckily,
Mike Jones.
Who?
Mike Jones.
But luckily, Doctor Who had such a big following that people had taped and recorded it. And the episode is going as normal. And then there's a little bit of static, and the screen blurs, and you hear a distorted noise as the wearer of the Max Headroom mask appears. This time, there is audio, albeit very hard to understand, and this time the intrusion on here lasts for about 1 minute and 20 seconds or so. Max appears on screen with the same metal background rotating, and the first thing he says is, "That does it. He's a frickin' nerd." And then he does like a tee-hee-hee laugh. And I think just the quality and the way his voice sounds just makes it super creepy. I think that's what makes it creepy.
Because I remember not being able to really understand it very well.
Yeah, you really can't understand it too much. We might put a clip in here, but I don't know because you probably really can't understand it.
People probably spent like a lot of time like translating it and stuff. Like,
Yeah, I watched it with subtitles, and it helped a little bit, but it's pretty hard to decipher and stuff.
Yeah, there is like 2 videos. There's one with subtitles, but you can tell they're not 100% correct. And then there's one that was like a higher quality one, but you still don't know what he's saying through all of it. You can make some of it out, though.
Yeah.
They should have got that person from The Fourth Kind who translated the ancient language.
God, yes.
Yeah.
Fuck
On this
that
case.
movie. Yes, they should have.
And then the next thing that happens is Max says, "Yeah, I think I'm better than Chuck Swirsky, frickin' liberal." Says something like that. We'll talk about who Chuck Swirsky is because he's awesome. He then bends over and speaks, but you can't understand at all what he's saying. You can make out, "Oh, Jesus," and that's about it at this moment. He then pulls out a can of Pepsi and flings it forward while saying, "Catch the wave," which is New Coke's slogan, not Pepsi. So I don't really understand why he does that. Like, I don't know if he's trying to
be like ironic.
See, I don't know. I really don't understand this whole thing, really.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he does that.
I might be able to help you a little bit later with my theory on that.
Oh,
All right, cool.
Excited about that.
And when he drops the can, you see something on his finger. Some say it's like a foam finger, but it kind of looks like it could be like a dildo or a sex toy because it does have a head on the end of it, like a wang.
Nice.
So I do think it is something like that.
Well, I mean, if that's what it is, they would have known instantly that it was Andrew. So
You have a head. Never mind.
He was just building his costume for Edward Penis Hands.
Only 9 more to go then.
Oh, yes.
He then does his slow motion run jump thing toward the camera, and all you can see this whole time is like from his upper chest and up. So that's how close he is while he's doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then he makes this groaning noise and he sings Your Love is Fading, which I don't know what song that's from, the way he says it or anything, unless it's like that Temptation song, but he doesn't really sing it like that, so I don't know. He's also flailing his hands around and doing awkward motions this whole time. And then he hums the theme song to Clutch Cargo, which was an animated show in the 60s.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Something interesting about that, the Temptations thing. The first game he interrupted was the Bears beating the Lions.
Yeah.
And the Temptations are like a popular Motown Detroit thing. So it'd be interesting if he was from the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Well, he'd have to be in the Chicago area to do this.
Oh, yeah, local. Okay, yeah.
So maybe that could have been. And then in the middle of the song, he says, I still see the X, which is a reference to the final episode of Clutch Cargo titled Big X. Some believe he said, I stole CBS. But if you listen closer, I don't think he says CBS at all.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if he says I still see the X either. But that's what it sounds like to me, because then he goes back into the Clutch Cargo song again.
Yeah. No, it almost makes sense with the rest of the stuff that he did.
And then Max starts to cry or sob a little bit while he says, my files, or piles, I've seen. Neither of them really make too much sense. Some say he says piles, and maybe he's making like a hemorrhoids joke, because piles is another name for hemorrhoids. Some say files because he's supposed to be like Max Headroom is supposed to be like a digital thing. I don't know. Trying to make sense of this is I've watched this video like probably 40 times a day, and it doesn't get any easier.
What do you think, Andrew?
I wasn't, when I watched the video with the subtitles, I was like, I didn't know if they were real because I couldn't understand a fucking word that he was saying. None of what you said that you could understand I got out of it at all.
Yeah. I mean, I was just asking what you thought because you did it, but what do you think, Spence?
Oh, what do I think?
Yeah.
How do we know this wasn't just a regular part of Doctor Who?
Really? We don't. We don't, actually. Yeah, it could have been.
How do we know this isn't just part of Doctor Who?
I mean, I was going to crack a joke, and I can't remember what it's called. What is where you dump your computer stuff at? What's that called?
Defragging.
No, not that. Like, where you just, like, drag it to, like, the computer. Like,
recycle bin?
Yeah, I was just going to crack a joke that, like he accidentally emptied his recycle bin. It was just, like, really dumb, but my files.
Wait, we're not done yet, though. We're still talking about it.
What if he was saying, he's like, I'm still getting back with my ex, Sergeant Piles.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that from a Wayne's movie? Major Pain, that's it. Damn it.
Max then shakes and twists, and he throws his head back a little bit. And then he says, oh, I just made a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds, followed by laughing. He then bends over and picks up a gardening glove and says, my brother is wearing the other one. And after putting the glove on, he continued, but it's dirty. And he kind of shakes his hands like he's in disgust, and he throws the glove down.
My favorite part's coming up.
And I don't really know what he says next. You can see on some of the subtitles, they think he might say something about blood prints, or it has blood prints on the glove, or he's getting blood on it, getting blood prints. I really don't know. I couldn't really make it out too much. And then the scene cuts to a side view. And the person that was wearing the Max mask is now bent over, showing the side of him. And his head is out of frame, so you don't see his head at all. But he's holding the mask up to the camera, and it has the dildo finger thing sticking out of the mouth. And there's also a second person there who I but I'm guessing the second person, it looks like a girl, was the one moving the metal frame in the back because that's no longer rotating.
Oh, okay. Holy shit, dude.
Andrew ripped a fucking thunderous
It's
fart.
on there. It's that little big one right there.
Yes.
And
Dude, that's going to come
holy
weird.
shit. I don't remember what the last thing I said was.
Rotating metal.
So the metal's no longer rotating, and the person who had the Max mask on, the second person is holding.
Bring it my way.
Okay.
Bring it my way, Big Brother boy.
Okay.
Can you be the Panama?
Oh my god.
Can you just Panama Canal it over here?
And the second person is now holding a fly swatter. The Max character has his pants down and his ass out while the girl is smacking him with it. And Max then yells, they're coming to get me. Bend over, bitch. Don't do it. Stop. Then the screen goes black and cuts back into Doctor Who. And right as it cuts back in, the doctor says, so far as I can tell, he suffered a massive electric shock and died instantly.
Oh, yes.
So that's kind of perfect. It's kind of funny.
So this happened in, like, the 80s.
87.
So Did they ever find that
Nope.
other bloody glove?
Jesus Christ, Andrew, that fucking stinks. I'm sorry to interrupt your OJ joke.
Yeah, that's all I was going for.
But fuck, Andrew. Jesus Christ, that's really bad.
Send it this way. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, obviously you're closer to ground zero than I am, but...
Ground zero.
I'm sorry, man. You guys like my farts any other
Let's check his underwear.
Oh, dude, holy shit.
It's bad.
Oh, man.
Damn.
Dude, that smells weird, dude.
From my... It kind of smells like corn to me.
Dude, you're weird, man. It smells like shit.
Did you have Burger King breakfast today?
Oh, man, that was tough, dude. Holy
Damn,
shit.
Andrew ripped a thunderous fart that smelled so fucking bad it brought the podcast to a halt.
It did.
We fucking to a Steve Holt. Who's Steve Holt?
I don't know.
Oh, he's from Arrested Development.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay.
I got a name for that fart, Andrew. I call it DMX because it stopped, dropped, and shut him down.
Open up your fucking pants and wipe your ass, Andrew, after that one.
Trust me, I did shirtless. Why I haven't moved yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that was my OJ joke, though.
Sorry I fucked up your OJ
It's
joke.
all right, dude. It's all right.
But yeah, that's everything that happens in the video. And it sounded like the first, like my guess is that the first incident was the main place they wanted to hijack. I really have no idea why why this whole thing happened, honestly. But the station that was being hijacked in the first one was WGN. And during the intrusion, the Max character mentions world's greatest newspaper. So that kind of makes sense, WGN.
Did he mention world's greatest tag team?
No, he didn't. Well, we just did.
We're the first to do that in a while.
So do you have any comments, questions, or concerns as far as those two incidents?
This was after DB Cooper, right?
DB Cooper is 79.
What if it was?
I think.
DB
I hope
Cooper?
so.
That'd be fucking sweet.
Like, what if he did? Like, what if this video was recorded in the back of that plane? Like, you see someone come out. What fucking Mucklow was the one slapping the ass?
Oh, yes, dude.
At the very end of this video, you see him just fucking parachute out.
Well, right before he jumps out, he lights Mucklow on fire.
Alrighty, so then I'm going to bring up the name Chuck Swirsky. As soon as I heard that name, I was like, it's so fucking familiar, but I can't figure out who it is. And I looked him up. I knew him from Toronto. He was an NBA announcer.
Oh, okay.
Some hated him, some loved him. I thought he was kind of funny and entertaining, but he's the one who would yell, "Onions, baby onions!" And then, like, after Toronto would win a game, he would always say, "You can bring out the salami and cheese, Raptors win."
Oh, yeah.
He always had a bunch of dumbass sayings.
Yeah, that makes no sense, but I love it.
Like, whenever Chris Bosh would do shit, he'd always go, "Oh my Bosh!"
Wait, it was that? Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, nice.
And he would yell "#wild man."
Nuh-uh.
No, he didn't. What? I wish he did.
Holy shit, dude.
#wild man.
#wild man. Dude, Andrew, fart that out.
Sally just kept saying Arab a bunch.
I know.
He's got the look right now.
One of the things about this case that is really interesting to me, but doesn't make sense, is to make this happen, it would have taken a ton of work and preparation to be able to pull it off. And then at the very end, this is the video that they show where it's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And it just kind of seems like it's improvised. Like they're just like, all right, let's just record some goofy shit. But it had to take so much work and shit to get to this point.
And it seems like at the time there had to have been something like important that they could have talked about, like something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I in the 2000s they could have done 9/11. Now,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like
Investigate 9/11.
exactly, yeah,
During the
like
Super Bowl.
yeah, like they could have done so much stuff, but then they just
Maybe they were planning on it, like they were like already like into like television and broadcast, and they saw like in the next couple years like security, like the telemetry or like the broadcast signals and stuff would actually become like more stronger. So like we need to hurry up and film this and get it out now, because by 1992 like it's gonna be hard to broadcast stuff over people's airwaves now. So maybe they chose to do it then.
nice,
Like that.
yeah,
Part of me thinks the point of this was just that there is no point.
yeah, just to do it,
You know?
yeah.
It seems like somebody much smarter coordinated this, and then they found a mentally challenged person to act out the actual scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, they can't blame me because I wasn't born for a couple of years. So
Maybe this is just like a Star Wars kid thing where they just found this tape and then and just put it on, you know?
That could be it.
All right, so post-incident. The incident had earned the perpetrators the title of pirates, so the news station, FBI, and people in general were not happy about this at all. It made national news the following day. WGN, WTTW, they were just all getting tons of phone calls from everyone trying to know, like, what the fuck happened, like, what's going on.
Yeah.
And the FCC got involved and stated that whoever was responsible could face up to 1 year in prison and a possible, I've seen it listed twice. One is $10,000 fine or $100,000 fine. I mean, to me, I don't know, I think it's kind of funny. It's just like, I don't get it though. Like, I know it's just like trolling. It just doesn't make any sense to me, but I think it's funny.
Like, if they found them now, which, I mean, I'm sure they're not going to, but if they found them now, do you think they would still get that 1 year in prison and that same fine?
I don't think so.
Yeah, like, they probably just be like, dude, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
like, they probably just kind of, like, commend him for it. Like, if the person's still alive, like, I would just take credit for that. I'd be like, yeah, dude, that was me.
Yeah.
Like, why
I think
wouldn't
that's
you?
the thing. Is like, there's, like, to me, there's, like, no point to it. And the fact that he never, like, the people never confessed to it.
Yeah.
I think that just, to me, shows that they just did it just to do it.
Oh, yeah.
No real
there
reason.
There was nothing behind it. There was no, like, end result at all.
So how could this have happened? Well, the control room of WGN-TV is located about 7 miles away from the 100-story John Hancock Tower, which is where the network would send out its microwave transmission. And then from the top of the antenna of the tower, that would be sent out to all the thousands of people viewing and watching. So I never realized that. I mean, this was back then, that they sent the signal that fucking far.
Yeah.
Like, it seems, like, I know they got to send it up high, but it just seems really
Can't stop the signal.
Can't.
Yeah,
7
you can't.
miles, man.
Well, originally he was just trying to kill the babysitter. Only Kevin's gonna get
Is this
that
a Cable
joke.
Guy joke?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a Cable
Or
Guy
play
joke.
Mortal Kombat with a friend in Vietnam. The technicians then acted quickly and switched the uplink frequency, and the network was then the correct broadcast being picked up. And the first incident, like we said, was only around 15 seconds or so. Imagine being like a technician there, because like stuff like this doesn't ever happen.
Oh yeah.
And you're just sitting there, then all of a sudden you see fucking the guy in the Max Headroom pop up on the screen. I'd be like, fuck it, I'm out. You know?
I quit.
Well, that's it. I'm fucking out of here.
What if he could have like switched this broadcast station? Like, you know what? I'm gonna see where this goes. Like he was about to switch it. He's like, ooh, he just pulled out his ass. You know what? Let's just see where this goes real quick.
Like he treats it like the situation. I think it's in Mallrats where they talk about where the plane is going down. Everyone thinks the plane's going to crash, so everyone whips their dick out and masturbates. And then like the plane doesn't crash. It goes back to normal, so they pretend it didn't happen. He just does one of those.
What if he was just waiting for tits?
Oh,
He's like, come on, where the tits at?
Come on.
He sees the ass. That'll work. So within hours, federal officials were called in to investigate the incident, which was a very rare broadcast intrusion. It's something that you just don't expect and really doesn't happen. And it was super confusing at first because not only did they have no idea who did it or how, but they didn't understand a motive either because they didn't see like a real message or anything, you know?
None, yeah.
The last intrusion I saw was when Andrew found out where a was staying.
Andrew.
You can't even use that.
He just went in the house and just ripped that fart. That's not the chick. That's not the chick that died, is it?
No, that's yeah. She was in there for like.
Oh, what the fuck, dude! Holy shit! I thought it was like that porn star. Oh my god,
We'll
dude!
just replace that.
Fuck, I don't know. I kind of want to keep it.
Oh,
It's real
shit.
bad, but that was fuck. I'll bleep the name out and all of our references to the.
Oh my god!
Can I repeat it real quick?
Well, it's not gonna get the same reaction.
Okay. The last intrusion I saw was when Andrew found out where Jodie Foster lived.
Okay, all right.
I like it. That could be so many things, and there's another fart from
God
Andrew.
damn it, Andrew! You fucking farted again.
I told you I have gas.
I feel like Andrew just doesn't want us to do the podcast right now.
I told you I have bad gas right now.
We're getting closer to the truth.
Fuck, dude, that stinks so fucking bad. Which is weird. I ate Burger King breakfast today, and that's exactly what I'm smelling. It's fucking weird. Like, you ever see that Cheech and Chong movie, the Corsican Brothers or whatever it's called,
Yeah.
where one of them gets hit and the other one feels the pain?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like my fucking Burger King breakfast gas is somehow coming out of Andrew's ass.
Is that Kev? Is that why your farts smell like Kevin Spacey's semen?
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
You guys deserve both of those. Except for you, Spence. You three deserve those farts, man.
Dude, I like that you know what Kevin Spacey's semen smells like.
It smells different from the rest of ours. It's like, yo, that's Kevin Spacey's.
Hey, that's Fago Moon Mist. Dude, me and Andrew have been saying that a lot.
That's Fago Moon Mist.
So the technicians in the building, within a minute of the broadcast, suspecting an inside job, the technicians were running through the building trying to find the culprits, or at the very least, a tape. It's tape.
It's tape.
But they found nothing. So that was their original.
Tyler.
So that was their original suspicion that someone like switched the tape. They fucked with that tape. What did they say?
Somebody fucked with that tape.
Blair Witch.
Yeah, dude, fuck that movie.
What if that was them? Like the technicians are getting questioned by the police, and it's
Somebody
that
fucked
scene?
with that thing. He's spitting and shit.
Where's the tape? We gotta get that tape.
Yeah. Oh, we got to get that tape. Wet Hot American Summer.
Dude, the best part of that, well, not the best part of that movie, but Nostalgia Critic did a review of it, and but the best thing, he's like, what the fuck was the Book of Shadows? Because it was called Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows. There's never a goddamn book or a shadow or anything.
Dude, one thing that pissed me off about that movie, like, I don't remember, like, I've seen it a long time ago because it came out, like, what, 99, 2000?
Something like that.
Why the fuck was there a bridge, like, going to the house?
It would just randomly not be there.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
who builds a house like, oh, I can't wait to cross this fucking bridge to get to my car? Like, ever. It's like a shitty fucking scaffolding. Like, who wants that?
Yeah, it was bad. I don't know how we got there, but I love it.
And at WTTW, the location of the second incident, a spokesman for the station said, by the time our people began looking into what was going on, it was already over. And Bob Strutzel, the chief engineer at WGN, said, takes very sophisticated microwave equipment, operating and broadcasting frequency bands, and a significant amount of power. So someone who really knows the business end of microwaves and broadcasting most likely is the culprit. So according to motherboard.vice.com, this is their theory on how they think it happened. The hacker managed to overpower the microwaves of the studio transmitter link, which sat vulnerable to attack on a frequency that wouldn't have been hard to find, as they were being sent to the receivers atop the John Hancock building in Sears Tower. So the intruders would have simply had to switch on their transmission equipment at a high enough location, could have been like a high-rise apartment or a roof, at a place that was between the two studios and their downtown transmitters, somewhere on the north or northwest sides of Chicago. From there, they could blast the skyscraper receivers with high-power microwave frequencies, and by overriding the studio's signals, they could trick the transmitters into sending out their own signal. So if you know what you're doing, that really doesn't sound hard. You know, you just have to put a more powerful signal between them.
But it's just more of the question of why.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have the actual equipment and know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, for people that know what they're doing, that sounds pretty easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, why? That's a lot of, it's like so much work and trouble to go through for nothing.
They could have done so much more.
I'm not really like a radio or like microwave or electronic technician. Hell, I'm almost not even a high school graduate with that 1.6 GPA. Could it be possible that they used Andrew, how the aliens used Cartman in South Park to stick a satellite in his ass? They put the cassette tapes inside Andrew's asshole, and they kind of pointed it upwards toward like the Milky Way, North Star or something like that, and he ripped out one of his atrocious loud farts.
Oh, yes.
And it just like had a big enough range where it reached every broadcast in the United States.
If that's the case, then whatever you guys are watching right now is fucking getting cut in. So, actually, hopefully you cut in. They're just fucking listening to the Brothers Commonplace.
Yeah, that's what my goal was in those farts, those stinky, rotten atomic farts.
All right, well that makes sense then.
In about one more week, Haiti's about to get another earthquake.
Oh, come on, dude.
It's gonna take that long to travel.
And another quote is, I think the bad guy got close to the receiving end and just transmitted a signal that was received with a stronger strength than the more distant intended signal. And they said it also helps to find out the spot where the actual hijack began, like the physical spot, so they can try and trace it. But it's been 30 years, and nobody has been able to figure out who did it or why or anything.
That's crazy.
And broadcast intrusions, they still happen, but it's a ton harder now with like encryption and digital transmissions. But it still does happen, just not as often.
Doesn't this like whole thing remind you of like every villain from every 90s cartoon?
Yeah, dude.
Like he did, like every one of them did something like this.
Well, shit, what movie was it? Yeah, there's just like tons of it.
So because like every 90s cartoon, somebody was either like breaking into some kind of like signal or using like a floppy disk to like end the world.
It was the Joker.
Oh, did the claw
in Batman?
Which one?
Jack Nicholson. Didn't he do that?
He might have, really.
Did Inspector Gadget's the claw? Didn't he do that too? Introduce?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seemed like it was like every one of like the 90s villains did this.
All right, so now let's... Oh, you guys got any more thoughts on that before we get into like suspects / theories?
Andrew, what you got?
I got nothing. I want to hear these suspects.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot. The first one we're going to talk about was based on a post on Reddit many years ago. It was like 7 years ago, where the poster believed he may have known who it was.
Oh, wow.
So a Redditor made a post mentioning two friends he had that he refers to as J and K. And at the time of the early 80s, the poster was like 13, I think, and J and K would have been in like their early 20s or so. And he mentions that they were all into the local hacking scene, and they would spend lots of hours and nights hanging out, doing shit like that. And people in the group didn't even know each other's full names, like everyone's full names. They used their chat names sometimes.
Oh,
wait a minute.
And
this sounds like that movie Hackers, or?
Well, that was kind of like a popular scene too. But there is like a real hacker scene. Like this guy was able to show proof and verify a lot of the stuff around the scene.
Wow.
That actually did. Like, and he sat down with one of the people that wrote the articles inspecting all this shit, and he talked to him too.
Hey, what's your name? My name's Megabit. What's yours? Well, they call me floppy disk.
Oh,
why? Because I think it's like 1.44 inches long.
Okay.
Holy shit, man. How did we not see that coming?
And he mentions that J and K were brothers. Jay had autism, and Kay was kind of taking care of him. And he also mentions that he doesn't have any actual proof that it was them, but it's just he tells like the story of why he thinks it could have been them. So he talks about how they have these weird senses of humor and things like that. And he mentions that he was at their apartment one night in 1987, and the two brothers, they kept mentioning that something big was going to happen this weekend. And when he finally asked about it, one of the brothers told him, just watch Channel 11 later tonight.
Oh, wow.
And that's mostly, it is like a lot more to it, but that's mostly the summary of the story. It was that Jay was autistic. He had similar mannerisms as the Max mask-wearing guy. And he had a sense of humor that resembled that guy also. And he also rambled and jumped around a lot whenever he was talking. So he thinks that character... or the guy in the mask easily could have been this guy.
Yeah.
And also in the video, there is a mention of a brother where he talks about the glove. So he thinks that's another connection also.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And him and his brother, they had an apartment they shared together. And Kay also had a girlfriend who lived there. So he believed maybe she could have been the girl in the video. So yeah, there's a ton more of that story on Reddit, and it actually is a really good read. And he does an AMA about it also, but that's really all the proof that he had.
Didn't they make another post like 2 years ago debunking all of it?
Yeah, so in 2015, 5 years later, the original poster, he made another post saying that J and K had been cleared as suspects because there were a lot of holes in his story actually, and people that were like investigating, like actual investigators and stuff, sat down with them. Like they actually met with this guy to talk to him.
Yeah.
And after a lot of research and investigation, the case showed that it most likely had to have been done by like an inside job. Like people had to have known what was going on the inside to be able to do it. And so that kind of ruled out these two guys. But now there's also some people that are saying, like, well, he's only saying it wasn't them now because he was threatened or he's trying to keep quiet.
Yeah.
So that's the first suspects.
Well, I heard there was 3. Like, there was somebody that helped him. I think it might have been the girl. He didn't know her name, but he called her F.
I forget what that is.
Just JFK.
Oh. Oh, my God, no.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't know how that was. Like, I was the first person to say that.
So suspect 2 isn't actually a person's name or anything. It's just they believe it was someone on the inside, possibly a disgruntled WGN worker, because in the video he mentions the world's greatest newspaper, and I doubt a lot of people knew that was what WGN stood for. And with the with the knowledge of how to do everything, it had to have been an inside person, they suggest. So that's why they think it could have been or was probably a disgruntled WGN worker, possibly.
That like makes a lot of sense, but like, how are they able to do it and not get caught? Like, I feel like I mean, like, how are they still not caught these people?
I have no
idea. That's what
idea.
doesn't make sense. So like, it had to be somebody like really smart. I mean, it does make sense to be like disgruntled employee, but
yeah, I don't know. They don't know because they think you would have had to have the right equipment to do it. I mean, you could have set up anywhere between the 2 transmitters to send it out, but they believe you would have had to have inside knowledge to pull it off.
You would think there'd be some kind of trace.
Yeah, you would think, but they were never able to figure it out.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You know, one thing that really grinds my gears? Like, all these, like, stories of people who do, like, stuff like this, like, conspiracy theories and stuff, like, the people who did it, 20 years later, just, like, send a letter to some random newspaper telling them how you did it and stuff. It sucks that, like, almost none of these come to light.
Oh, that's what we were saying. Like,
no one admits, like, their stuff, or no one comes out and says it. And
with this, you're not really going to go to jail or anything. Like, just fucking say you did it, and like, unless they're dead.
Like, it's like the DB Cooper thing, he could have died and stuff like that, but, like, so I'd say at least 25% of people that do like, these things kind of survive. Like, it'd be super cool to, like, hey, it's actually me, the guy who did that. It's like, I don't even care if I serve a year in prison. Who cares? It's super funny.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cases I wish I knew the answer, like who did it and why and stuff. But then there's some where it's like, as much as I want to know it, I'm glad I don't, because that would just kind of get rid of all the mystery and fun about it, you know?
I feel like every podcast we've done, like, where like it was a mystery, though, I want to fucking know what it was.
Has anyone done like a mystery? Like, let's say Max Headroom happened in 87, and then like 40 years later he does it again. Like, has there ever been like a repeat mystery like years after it happened? Like,
well, like the BTK killer had a huge gap between, like, he did all his killings, and then he had like a whole family and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he just started writing letters to the police, taunting them, and then did it again.
Yeah,
and they got him.
Oh, that's cool.
He was a fucking grandpa and shit.
Yeah, I forget how long. I forget what the year's gap is between them, but he was one.
Because I think that's pretty cool. Like, they never let it go, so they did it again, something like that.
So already suspect 3. Some claim it was a YouTuber, Eric Fournier. He created a fictional character named Shay St. John. And the backstory of her is that she was a supermodel that was disfigured in a car accident, and then her body was rebuilt with mannequin parts. And it's fucking terrifying. It's supposed to be funny, like Tim and Eric's show. That's kind of what it reminds me of. And it's fucking terrifying. I hate it. Like, I don't find it funny. I just find it creepy and scary.
At least this dude, like, later on got to play Venom. That was fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
Just Eric Eric
just Topher Grace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the only reason why this guy is a suspect is because his videos are pretty fucking weird, and he sort of moves the character with those mannerisms. They say, not really. I really don't see it, because Shay St. John's has like fucking wooden hands or something. It's so weird. It's just creepy, weird. It's supposed to be funny, but it's not really my thing. So if you like it, that's cool. I mean, I just don't get that kind of humor. It's not funny to me.
Oh, yeah.
But Eric died in 2010, though, due to alcoholism-induced internal bleeding. But the story is that he was in a band and wanted exposure for his band, and they were going to like hijack the station to play a music video of theirs. However, at the last minute, he realized it was a dumb idea because he would get caught in trouble. So I guess he quickly made the Max Headroom video instead and broadcasted it, which I don't understand. Like, if you thought it was a bad idea, just don't do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. At least if it was a music video, it would have purpose or make sense.
Dude.
But yeah, so they said like he just did that.
As soon as you said the music video thing, I really thought of like the Buddy Holly Weezer thing, but
that
they're
video's
playing on fucking Happy Days.
Yeah, that video's sweet.
Yeah, that's instantly what I thought of.
This
probably
guy
my-
should have played his competitor's music video, gotten them carted away.
Oh,
That would
fuck
make
yeah,
sense, dude. That would
Then he
make
would
sense.
have the entire music market to himself.
Andrew would have played
yeah.
Cannibal Corpse. Yeah, Andrew hates those guys.
But one of his former bandmates was interviewed, and he told him that that's just ridiculous bullshit. Eric didn't know anything about video editing back when they were in high school, and he said they never made any music videos. So that's it. That's pretty much the only suspects that I could really find. There's really none because I have no idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't really know the point of the Max Headroom hijacking. It's certainly like very interesting, and I mean I'm glad it happened. I think it's cool. It's something to talk about, and it's just scary, creepy, funny, entertaining. I just don't understand the point of any of it.
But yeah, this is something we could like talk about, and like it's not really nobody died or anything like that, so we can like, crack jokes and stuff like that. So it definitely is awesome that that it happened. I feel like that's like the first one that we've been able to say.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's like completely harmless. I mean, it's like 99% harmless because he does have his ass out and he does say bitch.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's like,
I mean, they were watching.
It's just super funny.
Yeah, they were watching Doctor Who. I mean, I wouldn't feel like any kid staying up late to watch that or something. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm
Don't
glad
know
it
the British.
That's true. That's true. I'm glad it happened. I think it's kind of funny, but I have no idea. Like it's definitely confusing.
There was some kind of funny stuff. I was watching like old news interviews and specials like the day after and stuff, and they were interviewing some people. And there's one where this guy, he's like, "Oh, I was so upset. I just wanted to bust the TV." That's one thing a guy said.
Yeah.
And there's this one girl, and she keeps going on. You can tell she was like just not impressed by it at all because she's like, "Well, now I'm gonna have to tape it again."
Oh my god, yes.
And there's an older dude who he was pretty much relating the incident to like a punk kid who just would drive by and throw a brick through your window, like just being an ass. That's what he compared it to.
Yes.
And then they asked this like 6-year-old kid what he thought. He's like, very, very funny.
Oh my god, yes. That's the first time Andrew's ever been on TV.
Hell yeah. And that was the last time. Never mind. I was going to make a got laid joke, but I just realized that the kid was 5.
Well, the second time Andrew was on TV, like he knew this girl that had died. And they asked him, they're like, well, what would be your final words to the victim? And he was like, run, bitch, run.
Fuck yeah. Dude, this is cool.
Dude, at first, I thought you were going to make a joke about that guy who they interview about the girl that got killed, and they found her body, and he was the guy who did it.
Oh,
So
shit.
he finds out live on the news that they found the body and that he's fucked. And he just kind of, he's like, I need a minute to sit down.
Oh, I remember seeing
I thought
that.
that's what
Yeah.
you were going to make a joke
I remember
about.
seeing that.
We'll cover that sometime soon.
Yeah.
I'll just reiterate that my suspect is that it's just a regular part of Doctor Who. My other thought is that it was V from V for Vendetta.
Oh.
See, I like that. I did think that like for a second, but I didn't know how to crack the joke because I haven't finished the movie. But I did think that too.
See, part of me thinks that the whole thing is scarier now than it would have been back then because Max Headroom was popular in the 80s during that time, and they had like commercials and stuff like that. So if that popped on, I don't know if it'd be as creepy or scary.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
now when people see it, they
Like,
don't
what
really
the
know
fuck
who
is
he
that?
is. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Alrighty, Toof has an idea on who a suspect could be.
Suspect, theory, truth, who knows? So, broadcast came out in 1987. It shows a man or woman in a brown suit with a Max Headroom mask on talking. They say their lines. I like the whole I hate CBS line because it kind of coincides with this. Then he pulls his ass out and gets spanked and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. My suspect, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Back in the early 80s, when Vince McMahon was not very on-screen guy, he was mostly a color commentator just taking the business over from his dad, he actually wore a brown suit quite a bit.
He did. I agree.
Quite a bit. Vince McMahon actually had a spat with CBS about broadcasting WrestleMania 1. He wanted them to do it and kind of there was I forget exactly if it was like a contract thing or like how much range they could broadcast or whatnot. So he had a little tiff with them.
Yeah.
When he sang "Spank My Ass Brother" or something like that, what was the line?
No, he doesn't say that.
Doesn't he say brother somewhere in it?
When he puts the glove on,
Yeah.
he says, "My brother has the other one."
Okay.
Spank my ass, brother.
No,
I think
I can work with this.
he was heading to Hogan.
I think you're
know
talking
it.
about one of Andrew's home videos we just watched.
So he says something about his glove and the brother, right? Brother. 1987. He was really big into Hulk Hogan. Possibly a Hulk Hogan reference, just to throw it in there. Or possibly Vince McMahon's real life brother, Roderick McMahon II. Could be. You never know.
No.
So this character in a brown suit also pulls out his ass. Who is...
Oh my god.
Who do we know that's pulling out their
Oh my
ass
God,
before
dude.
on live TV?
The Kiss My Ass
The
Club.
Kiss My Ass Club. Very, very interesting.
Yes.
And kinda, doesn't the Max Headroom costumes hair kind of remind you of Vince's?
It does.
It's like very
Yeah,
square and like
that's
slick back a
It
little
really
bit.
does, yeah.
And it's got a little bit of discoloration on the sides. I can kind of see it as being a Vince McMahon thing.
Yeah.
My suspect is Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
I heard you're not the only person that figured this out. I heard that Owen Hart. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Alrighty, guys. Anything else before Spence does our closing stuff?
What do you think, Andrew and Spence? What do you guys think happened?
I just think that it was somebody on the inside that, disgruntled postal worker that was there.
It does make sense.
Who just did it.
Postal workers did a lot of bad stuff around that,
Yeah, they
time. Yeah.
They actually, you know how they thought it was that guy in the band? So they started questioning a lot of people in bands, and they thought it was like an inside guy.
Yeah.
And one of them they interviewed, they were asking about it, and his reply was, well, I'm on the outside. I'm looking in.
Fucking
Another stain
That's
joke.
2 stain jokes.
Tube, don't you dare shake your head no. You
can see
do more
through you.
stain jokes.
So disgusting. Horrifically horrifying, man.
Mr. Krabs stain front.
Oh, that was good.
Seed of the real you.
Spence is still spitting out lyrics.
So that Vince McMahon thing, you guys think it's possible?
No.
Because like
Yes.
Vince McMahon probably
Yes,
had
it
a
is.
lot of powerful people who were actually like good into broadcasting and stuff like
He
that.
did get Jimmy Superfly Snook. He let him get away with fucking murder.
Yeah, that fucking. Well,
He straight murdered.
yeah.
He murdered his
Yeah,
wife.
they fucking know he did it,
easily.
yeah.
It's not even
Yeah.
a mystery.
Yeah, they knew
fucking
he did it.
Vince got him out of it.
Yeah. And then they tried charging him again when he was like fucking
Yeah.
like 90 with dementia.
And they're like, well, he's retarded
gonna
now,
die,
so he
yeah.
can't stand trial.
yeah. Which,
And like that whole time up until then, Vince just is like, "Hey, just pretend you don't know English," and
Yeah.
that's how he got away with it for the most part.
Oh, my
it's
God.
ridiculous.
I was,
More power to him. I guess.
I was gonna crack a really bad joke that like I committed a crime and I didn't like go to jail because I was retarded and couldn't stand trial, but I couldn't think of a crime that I could say that wasn't gonna be like really bad.
Oh,
Ha, funny story, Tim.
Thanks, man.
I was gonna make a Casey Anthony joke after you mentioned retarded.
Oh my
and-
God, yes.
But
yeah.
that feels like it's just a bridge too big to fucking cross. I don't even want to get there.
Hey, the fact that Casey Anthony got off, you know what I call that? A KC masterpiece.
What the fuck? That doesn't even make any. Is that barbecue sauce?
It's the KFC thing.
Oh
KC masterpiece.
no. Alrighty, Sense, you want to hit us with that closing shit?
Hey everybody, this is Spence. Cares. All right. Jesus.
I'm fucking Beaker now. Thanks, everyone, for listening. What we would really like for you to do is subscribe to our podcast, which you can do on iTunes or CastBox or Stitcher, or, I think it's on pretty much everything. So wherever you subscribe to podcasts, check us out. We're going to get our YouTube channel up and going soon here. Also, what we'd really also like is for you to leave comments and reviews. That helps us get more exposure, helps more people find us, and we love it. We also want to hear from you. So leave us comments on our Facebook, which is Brothers Commonplace, our Twitter, which is Bros Commonplace, I think, and our email, which is brotherscommonplace@gmail.com. We would love to hear feedback, and if you have any suggestions, we will consider those for future topics. But also, if you could just tell your friends, if you could share it on social media or tell someone personally that they need to check out this podcast, that would help us spread like wildfire.
Ooh.
Just tell two friends, and they tell two friends,
And they
tell two friends.
I like that.
No,
This is our Birdie Madoff.
Hey, this is Toof here. I have a personal challenge for all you listeners out there.
Ooh, I like that.
Ninja challenge. Burned?
Fuck.
Shit.
You've got 21 days to write the most intriguing, exceptional, greatest review that I personally can see, and I will give you access to my private personal Snapchat where I can send you as many Sharpies in my pooper as you want.
You could, yeah.
No,
There's a lot of cat pictures, too.
For real, though, if everyone listening could please leave us a 5-star review. We haven't gotten any since, like, day 2.
Yeah, come
And
on, guys.
those were all just written by us in code names. So please, I know it's annoying. You got to log into iTunes. It takes like 30 seconds, but it would mean the world to us. And if you're in a podcast, put your podcast name in there, and we'll subscribe, listen, and give you guys a 5-star review right back. So thank you to everyone on Twitter that's keeping us involved and treating us like some good boys.
Yeah, and good boys like Andrew.
Hashtag Wildman.
Hashtag Wildman.
Just think of it like killing 14 cops in Grand Theft Auto. We want 5 stars.
Fuck yeah.
Andrew's cracked that joke.
Yeah, so he's already cracked. If you listen to the podcast, Toof, you would know. I'm just joking. He was there, wasn't he? Yeah. He was in it. All right, Tim, anything you want to say, dude?
Nah, I think that's good.
All right, Andrew, hit us with some words of wisdom. You better make it super good since you didn't talk much last week. Make up for it.
And do it naked.
I'll try. I was thinking of something. It's not super funny, but
Off to a good start.
I'm trying. I was looking through some, relatively family-friendly websites last night,
Nice.
and I found one called Little Blonde Box.
Ooh.
And I threw us on there, and you might want to check it out. It's pretty good.
What the fuck is it?
What is Little Blonde Box?
You have to go to it and see. It's,
All right.
I'm
it's
afraid.
it's not dirty at all. I
I'm
swear.
a
I'll do
skirt.
it. Little Blonde Box as in snatch hole, as in the fucking pussy lips. Yeah.
Oh,
damn,
yes.
Nasty.
Came out of nowhere.
Damn. Alrighty, so just like, I don't know, I really want to make an Eddie and the Dragons joke.
Oh, yeah. There needs to be another one.
We're out like Eddie and the Dragons. I can't think of anything. Eddie got his ass beat by the Dragons.
Ugh.
Well,
that was
know
too
what?
far for
Dragon
two.
ass.
You know what? You and Andrew should be a fucking 90s WWF tag team because you guys are just the nasty boys.
is that Brian Knobs?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it is. Let's not give that guy any fucking airtime,
No,
man.
I'm
Come
bleeping
on.
that out.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to know.
His name doesn't deserve to be said out loud.
So, alrighty, thank you everyone for listening. Be good, stay safe.
Laugh at the dark stuff.
Hashtag Wildman.
Hashtag Wildman.
Wild man.
This February, history will be made. Millions will watch as 80 years of unjust stigma is left in the past. A product that drove good people to the black market will be revealed as one that's creating a new global market. This February, what inspired the symbol of counterculture will at long last be seen as just culture. The new normal is coming. Will you be one of the first to see it? Visit medmen.com to watch an exclusive preview.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.